Hello, everyone, and welcome to NeuroAdvanced Academic Live, where we focus on neuroscience, education, and parenting tips. And tonight with episode 6, you do not want to miss it. Tonight we are talking about financial literacy, building generational wealth, and how to make proper finances for your children. So you want to go ahead and share this with your family and friends. And while you're sharing with your family and friends, neuroeducator Dominic Yancey is going to introduce our expertise on tonight.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to jump right in and begin to introduce our panel for this evening. First, we have Miss Reesey Brewton. She is an inventory accountant at Chatham Corporation. Reesey has been in accounting for 9 years. She has a bachelor's in accounting and an MBA with a minor in accounting. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Reesey. Next, we have Miss Khaalida Jones. Miss Khaalida is owner and accountant of LeGrand Financial Services. Khaalida has been independently working in this business for 10 years, but she has been working with her father in finances since she was 12 years old. Thank you so much, Khaalida, for joining us this evening. And up next, we have Major Booker Washington. He is an Army Executive Officer. He has been and financial advisor. He has been in finances for the past 25 years. He began doing real estate in college at 18 years old. Thank you, Major Washington, for joining us this evening. So we will jump right in with our first question. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, and comment as we continue through this episode. Tag a friend of anyone that you think could use this wonderful information on financial literacy. All right, our first question is going to be, what is financial literacy and generational wealth?
Okay, so for me, in my business, we have a couple of sayings that we live by, and one of them is money doesn't come with instructions. So you may be rich, you may be poor. Essentially, it doesn't really matter unless you have a plan for your funds. So financial literacy is understanding your money and how it's taxed. For a tax perspective, what you can write off, what you cannot write off, and essentially, the most important thing right now and moving forward is making your money make money for you while you sleep. So that is ultimately what I think financial literacy is, and understanding, creating a plan, and sticking to the plan.
And and I'll caveat that and say I agree with that 100%. And also, financial literacy is just understanding, and to your point, the instruments and all the intricacies that's associated with growing your finances. And so, talking about actual instruments for mortgages, talking about money market accounts, talking about stock market and the importance of stock market, but understanding how to set the foundation of finances. So you got to be educated at different stages in your life to also grow financially. So just like we grow from a child to an adult, your finances got to grow with you. So with that, that's definitely spot on what you were saying. So I definitely agree 100%.
Yeah, and I can kind of round that out. For me, I would say financial literacy is basically understanding, like they said, understanding your money, how to make it work for you, what you need to do with it. Basically, the action side of it, what you're doing with your money. So kind of like rounding out what they basically said.
Wow, that's really good. So I really like that. Looking at finances from the action side when we're talking about financial literacy and generational wealth. So just for those coming in, tonight we are discussing building generational wealth and how to prepare financially for your children. So we're going into the next question on tonight. What should parents value the most when it comes to finances?
So I would say being knowledgeable. You can't teach your child about finances unless you know about it. So definitely making sure that you're knowledgeable in the area and actively putting those practices to work, actually making your money work for you. And I know a lot of times we have a mentality of, I want to give my child what I didn't have, but we also need to teach them how to get it themselves, so they're not feeling like everything is going to be handed to me. I'm entitled to this because my parents gave it to me, so everybody else should. So definitely being knowledgeable about finances and how to make things work for you.
Absolutely. I think that parents should value savings the most when it comes to finances. Because I come from, meek beginnings. And there was never really emphasis put on savings. We kind of live from paycheck to paycheck, so there was really no room for savings. But it can be done, if you really take a look at your overall situation, your finances, and maybe you could just cut out the fast food this night, or maybe you don't get your nails done this week, or maybe you don't get your hair done, or you don't buy that shirt that you like, and you really start to see where you get more bang for your buck, so to speak, and you could save and make money, investing in different options, looking at compound interest and all of these things. I remember being in college and getting my rebate checks back, my refund checks from my student loans, and not really doing what I should have done with those checks. And that comes from having that lack of education. So instead of sending it back to the loans, what did I do? I wanted to be cute. I went shopping, and it didn't help me. And now I'm still paying loans back. So just really having these conversations and just being aware of what's going on. I didn't really have anybody to turn to at the time. So I do try to educate my clients and my friends and tell them, it'll pay off in the long run. Essentially you'll be able to buy what you need. I live by Jay-Z's philosophy. If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford to buy it. So don't do it. But definitely just not making the same mistakes that we made and having the conversations, and it'll click eventually. They may not understand it now, but just having that open dialogue, it'll definitely click in the long run.
Hey, so y'all hit some heartstrings with these comments. Y'all got me pumped up over here, man. I'm fired up right now. So let's go ahead and get to it. So I like this right here. This is motivation at its best. So to piggyback on everything that y'all said, some stuff on the board, even before we started talking, you said savings. Man, that is the foundation for finance. Like, you gotta be disciplined with that savings. If you don't know what to do with money, you save first and learn later until you know what to do with the money. And so we got different levels. I know different levels are on this Facebook Live. So, you got some people who just starting off, some people who's already had careers. And so don't feel bad if you didn't start off on the right track, or you need to actually get educated, because somebody got to be sacrificial. Somebody has to blaze that trail to ensure that everybody that comes behind them is financially set. And so with that, if you're that 30, 40, 50-year-old that's on this line right now, hey, accept it. If you sacrifice yourself, and the same thing you said, boss lady, educate yourself, and you get that savings, now you can actually build everything for the ones behind you. So blaze that trail, get educated. So there's a couple of fundamental things that I think I should lay out right now that a parent should be tracking. And so you got to create a source of income. You can't save nothing that you ain't making. So you got to create a source. So with that, you want to create a source. You want to understand that it's a means to an end. And you want to say, I'm trading my time for $1. And so when I get that dollar, my time is worth so much. So I need to make sure I'm saving that dollar as much as possible. Just like you said, boss lady, sometimes you got to put down that old Charlie's or that Chili's and go back and get some spaghetti and some ragu. And, I go from $50 to $12 and I save, right? So I hit my budget. But then also the second fundamental thing is saving. But then after you do that, simultaneously, we want to talk about, parents, you need to understand the 5 components of your credit score and what makes up your credit score. And we'll get to that in a minute. But then being as a parent or as the leader of your house, it could be a parent, it could be an auntie, an uncle, a brother or sister. As the financial leader of your house, make sure that you're abreast of all the laws and regulations. And this right here is overlooked a lot, because, and I'll give you an example. The Consolidation Appropriation Act of 2021, the last act signed by Donald Trump, was, you know, almost 2,100 pages. And so, but everything that they talked about in that $900 billion bill was laid out by the Aegis. And, you know, it's telling you where this money going and how this country operates. So once you understand the laws and regulations, you know how to navigate. You know where your help's coming from and where the enemy's coming from too. So you financially set. And then, you know, one thing I say, parents, you can start off with whatever rule you want to with savings. One thing I operate off of is I call it the 70-30 rule. So if I make $100 today, I'm putting 70% in the savings and I'm spending 30%. That's going in my checkings. I set my budget off that 30% because in my 30%, if I can pay my bills and everything, I'm stacking a nice savings. But what if you do that when you're 12, 13, 14, and then you just save it? Watch, you know, you will compound money, and then you'll learn all the instruments. So you ain't gotta figure it all out yet. But 70-30 is a rule I use. Some people do 60-40, and some people, hey, they don't have any bills, they go 80-20. But 70-30 is a safe point. And my last thing is, with financial freedom and financial actual literacy, you gotta have clear, concise goals. You gotta create something that you're building towards. And so you gotta set them for your kids or the ones behind you and say, hey, this year I want you to put away 10 grand as my 15-year-old, and I'm gonna show you what that look like per day. You need to get out here, collect these cans and bottles and turn them in and get whatever it takes to get to that money, but have clear defined goals, because that's gonna allow you to build the cinder blocks or the bricks to that financial freedom. And so, you know, hey, I told y'all before I'll run my mouth, so I'm gonna pause there and then we'll move on to the next question.
Thank you so much. These are some amazing tips and tools that our viewers can take home, or that they can take, they're already home, but that they can take and apply to their finances right now, tonight or tomorrow. And so thank you all so much for that. Some of the things that kind of stuck out to me was that you can't teach what you don't know. So the very first thing is to get educated. Find someone, and I know one of the things that I jotted down that was recently mentioned was, if you don't know, be sure that you are knowledgeable of the laws and what's going on in your community, what's going on with the taxes in your community, because that has an effect on you as well. So be sure that, and if you don't know, or if you really just don't understand, have someone on your team. And when I say team, I don't mean you have to have this, you know, of all these fancy different types of people. I mean a friend that is knowledgeable, that can share the information with you, break it down. Someone that you know that just may be knowledgeable about these different things, that you can say, hey, I don't understand taxes, or I don't understand credit. Can you break this down for me? Call at the bank. You can call your bank and see if they have financial advisors. A lot of banks have free financial advisors, and a lot of people don't know that. Call your bank and ask if they have those services for you, and they'll be able to break down a lot of this information for you. For you personally, based on your finances. So definitely, I love this, being aware, making investments, learn about interest, compound interest, learn about investing. What does that mean, and what does that look like for you? And so something practical to give to your children is having those clear and concise goals and breaking them down piece by piece. One thing that Shirley and I speak into our scholars in our program is that you can't eat the whole cake at one time, right? You have to cut it in a slice, and then you bite it piece by piece. And that's the same thing that you're going to do with your finances. You're going to bake that cake, put everything together in a nice little pile, however your finances are, slice it and cut it, then take those bite-sized pieces out one by one. Thank you all so much for that on that second question. Now we're going into our third question. Am I financially prepared for my loved ones? This is a really good question. How can I ensure that I am prepared, and what are the importance of wills, estate plans, and life insurance? Give us some definitions and help us understand what wills, estate plans, and life insurance is, and why it's important to our children.
I'll take this one first, and I'm telling y'all have free reign to say, Booker T, cut it out. And so with that, just have me stop, right? So we're gonna have a good time. So wills, estate you know, once again, we getting back to the plan. First thing, you gotta educate. Then you understand how to build an estate. And so it's important that you understand where you're taking your family if you're the financial leader. I can't just take my family to 6 figures in a bank account. That does nothing for them. Like, I don't have no land. I don't have any instruments. I don't have stuff that's actually residual or that's actually autonomous income that's coming in. So a state don't necessarily have to be a state like people think with property. A state can be a financial instrument that's spitting out that revenue while you sleep. And it takes time to build that for your family. But in order to have a will, you don't want to do all that hard work. So I built this great estate, and it's providing a lifetime of income for generations to come. That's the whole point of an estate. But if I don't protect it with the will behind it, now the state can take everything that I built from me, and then now my family, who is for, I lose it. So now it goes to probate court. I lose everything that I worked, and you know, I'm dead in my grave. But now my kids, my grandkids, and my great grandkids lost all the hard work and the sweat equity that I put in the building. So when you're building an estate, it's a clear plan. Like, what do you want that estate to do? You want that estate to put scholarships out for your kids. You want it to buy houses. You want it to be a loan provider for your kids so they don't have to go to the bank. Hey, build it. Build it and make sure they pay it back, and you treat them as a customer in the bank. But the only thing is, you don't kill their credit. You will not kill their credit because it comes from the family. So they learn all the rules without burning that credit profile. But then I come back and I back that joker with a will. I got a will behind it to protect it so nobody can take what I built for my family. You know, and so I write it in, and I write everybody who's my heirs and stuff like that. So it's important to understand where you want to take your family, because then it's going to focus all your initiatives today so your tomorrow can be what you want it to be. And, you know, I'll pause there and let all these great women get loose, but hey, go for it.
Well said. And I look at estate plans and wills as post-death instructions. I may not be here physically, but my words and what I want to be carried out will be here. And honestly, I've seen it go left so many times in this business because we don't know, one, and by not having, you know, that education, again, it puts us in a bind. So I've seen, like he said, people lose their hard work all because they didn't have it established. And it's 2 things I feel that's guaranteed in life, and it's taxes and death. So we all have to plan to make sure that what we want carried out will be carried out. And it's so simple. I've seen people lose thousands of dollars all because they didn't have someone listed on paperwork properly. And all it took was a second, but they just didn't know. And then even with embarking on estate plans and wills, while we're living, we all need to have life insurance too. Over the years, I know many of you have seen several GoFundMes, which is not what we should be doing. We need to definitely budget and make sure that, you know, we can put money aside so that when we're gone, we don't have to worry about sitting in a funeral home for days because our family can't get the money together to give us a proper send-off. And it goes back to budgeting, setting goals, like you said earlier. It's a guarantee that it's going to happen. There's no guarantee. We are going to kick the bucket one day. So you need to set yourself up for that. And there's a lot of misunderstanding with life insurance in the Black community too. I know a lot of people got bamboozled. I grew up, my mother telling me not to do it because she had a bad policy. When her mother passed, it just didn't work out in her favor. But you ask the questions, you do the research, you get the job done, and it can work out in your favor. It's so much out here that we don't know, but once we do gain this knowledge, we can really, really be successful. So it just all really starts with having a plan and executing the plan. And once again, with the wills too, not only creating a will and having one, but updating it. So maybe you had a baby, maybe you got divorced, maybe you bought more property, what have you. Just checking on your finances like you would check on yourself. You go to the doctor at least once a year, make sure you check on your finances and make sure that everything is intact.
I think they pretty much said it all. Yeah, only thing that I could probably add to that, I was speaking with someone who was the executive over, someone's estate after they passed, and they suggested maybe looking into putting things into trust so that once you pass, things are actually carried out as you plan for them to, because we've seen it go the opposite direction where they wanted it one way, but it got distributed and that was it. It didn't get distributed as they wanted it to. So definitely, like Khaalida said, ask questions, ask more questions to make sure that you understand what's going on and making sure that how things are playing out how you want them to. That's it.
Wow, this is such a good conversation. I hope you all have your notebooks, your pencils, your papers, and you are taking notes. I'm taking notes and enjoying this conversation, even as we are moderating. So I really want to just recap the fact that when we're talking about an estate, we're talking about generational wealth, and that needs to have a clear plan. And that's also that's revenue while you sleep. And you need to make sure it's a clear plan or a clear goal, whether you want that estate to buy a house, loan, scholarship money for your children and your grandchildren, but then you want to back it up and protect it with a will. But then we also heard that you need to update that will. And when she said that, I was like, geez, I need to go update my will. But you need to you need to make sure you update that will, whether you've bought a new piece of property, whether your marital status has changed. Then I like the fact that also when we're talking about wills, they are post-death instructions. And then you can have an executive, but also you need to think about adding a trust into that to make sure that those instructions are carried out. And then the life insurance policy, that the GoFundMe page is not a normal. That's an abnormality, right? That's not what we want. When we're talking about life insurance, and there's been a lot of misconceptions, especially in our community. You want to make sure that you budget out properly, you set goals, and that's going back to setting goals, but then making sure you do the research so you can get a good policy, because life insurance can work for you and help to ease some of those burdens of your family post-death. This is some good information. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Okay, so let's go on to our next question. Teaching children about money is not easy, but if you want them to know the time the time is to start now. What are some practical tips you would give to parents when teaching their children about finances at any level? So we're talking about what are some practical strategies that we can do for our children with teaching them about finances, starting from elementary all the way up to high school.
Okay, so I can start there.
Hey, let me set my. Hold on. Let me set my.
I can start. So I would say transparency. Like, show them the process. They won't know unless you show them what to do. You can show them. Let them pay for things at the store. Give them the money or give them the card. Let them insert it. Let them hand it to the cashier. Simple things like that is a basic start. What else do I have? You can make a visual. So my daughter, she's 4. We have a little piggy bank for her so that she can, if she gets money, she gets change, she can go put it in there herself. And she sees that it adds up. And, every now and then we'll go in and we'll count it together. She doesn't quite understand the value of it yet, but she knows this is my money. I got some dollars and some coins in here, so I'm doing something. I will also say you can do a reward system, but you have to be careful about doing a reward system because you don't want to get them stuck in a do something, get something mentality where they always feel like they have to be rewarded for everything they do. Instead of, I guess a way to round that out is to set goals with it. So once they reach a specific goal, then they can get their reward. So I was listening to a podcast one day, And the guy was talking about what he does with his kids. So they see school as a job somewhat. So for one of his kids who's like really into school, they get awarded for their grades. A's and B's, they get paid. You get a C, you don't get paid. You get a D or you're failing, you pay up. And you can find ways to go about that, like even going further with that. You keep getting D's or you keep failing, you're gonna be in debt. You're gonna continue, like you're not gonna have any money. You're gonna owe everybody. So you have to be mindful. So that I thought that was a good way to get them involved in the whole process with that. And what else did I have? Yeah, that's about it. Oh, no. Creating a financial vision board. So say your child says, "Oh, mom, dad, I want a bike." Okay, well let's look at this. This is the bike you want. Let's put it up on a board. How much does this bike cost? Let's put that up on a board. Let's mark off how much money you have already and what you need to get to be able to get that bike. And then you can have a date for how, whenever they want to get it, whenever they want to get it by, and then break it down. Well, I need this much by such and such date to be able to receive my bike. So I thought those were some good ideas to help parents out. But that's my spiel. Whoever can go next.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to be a little repetitive and just say that it does start with creating an open dialogue and just speaking to your kids. And like I said, it may not click now, but when they get older, it'll be like, oh, that's what mom was talking about. Oh, okay, I get it. For my son, he's 8 years old. He has no concept of money at all. I think maybe I had $100 in my wallet. He was like, "Oh my God, mom, you're rich." And I'm like, "Little boy, if you only knew, that $100 ain't doing nothing." So just having that conversation with them. Then I think it went to, well, do you know how much the mortgage is? And do you know how much the car is? And you remember we went on that trip and, it's like, oh my God, like that's a lot of money, mom. And it's like, yes, it is. But, you work hard, you could also be able to acquire this money and do what you need to do, so to speak. So I just really like to talk to them like they're my kids, but they're little people. I look at them like they're little people. So I'll talk to them like I'll talk to my clients. And then even I think it's the cutest thing ever. I was talking to my daughter about stock market and she's like, "Yeah, mom, you should invest in this one and that one." And I'm like, "Oh," she's 11. Like, "Oh, that's so cute." Because TikTok has whatever. TikTok is a whole nother world. So she got introduced to something. I guess somebody up there was talking about finances, which is great. Maybe it was YouTube or something. YouTube stock is amazing. Different things. So just having that conversation with them. I don't want to raise them like my parents did. And I'll tell you when you get older. No, I'm going to find a PG way to explain it to you so that you understand. And then, maybe you could educate the next person and so on and so forth, whatever it may be, as long as it's not inappropriate, obviously. But yeah. And then just, I guess just figuring out what works for them in terms of getting them to understand. So like Reesey said, she had a financial vision board, which is really good. So just, I guess, correlating it to some things that they can't understand with their, their little kid wants or needs or something, and just making it all make sense. But communication in every walk of life is key. So just keeping it open.
Hey, so I'm going to caveat on both of y'all because y'all actually did some wonderful things. I'm gonna highlight some stuff because I'm taking notes over here. That D&F, where you pay that debt, man, that's legit. That works. I don't care what level, kid, middle school, I'm still in that. Just so you know, I'm taking that one and putting that in my pocket. So we're gonna work on that. But then that piece that you were talking about, that conversation, we fear that they don't have the intellectual capacity to receive what we're putting down. But you spot on, man. Right now, have the conversation. Because if they can get on a Fortnite or online, they can understand, they can intellectually receive that, they can receive what you're saying too. So they'll figure it out. Some of it might be complex, but it's our job to be educated. Y'all already said that. And to be able to take it down and break it to a benchmark that's at their level, but you still want them to get that. So I don't have, y'all got a bunch of thunder on this, so I'm not trying to steal no thunder, but I want to challenge this Facebook Live group, and I want everybody to take this challenge. I'm going to give you 2 challenges, and you can start whichever one that you want to get, but I'm going to break something down to you real quick, 30 seconds. So, you know, I asked a lot of teenagers and a lot of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, I work with like 28,000 troops on a daily. And I said, hey, man, what do you see in your account that'll make you feel like I got some money? You know, I get different answers, right? I get, man, if I got 10 grand in my savings on Rocksteady. I get, if I got 25 grand in my savings on Rocksteady, they're young. And so I said, okay, well, do you think you can get there? Oh, that's hard. That's tough. That's hard. Well, I'm going to take 10 grand and break it down to what it equivocates to one day. And then we're going to see how hard y'all think it is out there in Facebook Live, man. So check this out. 10 grand broken down per day for 365 days is $27.40. Now, I know a lot of us go to Starbucks, go to McDonald's, Burger King, everywhere, and we spend that in a day. If you eat at the house, I guarantee you can put away $27.40. And it's no scam. This is just straight up discipline saving, fundamental discipline saving. $27.40 will guarantee you 10 grand at the end of the year. So all y'all out there in Facebook Live land, take the challenge. That's the 10 grand challenge. Now, if you feel like you froggy and you want to jump, I got the next challenge for you. All right? The next challenge is a 25K challenge. 25K equivocates to $48.50 a day. So think about what you can cut out your bill or what you can do between checks to make sure you hit that. You're guaranteed with just $50 a day to hit your 25K a year and hit your goal. So that thunder that these great ladies just put out, I put some sunshine on top of that and say, here go 2 challenges, Facebook. Take them and see, can you be there the next time that we throw this Facebook Live? I want to see where you're at. And then challenge yourself. Be disciplined. I guarantee you'll be there at the end of the year. But that's all I got.
Thank you so much. And that's definitely, I encourage all of you to take this challenge. For those that are watching now and for those that are watching the replay, let us know in the comments if you like he said, if you're feeling froggy, let's see what you got, and we'll keep up with you guys. So go ahead and post that in the comments if you are going to take the $10,000 challenge or the $25,000 challenge, and let's keep up and let's see where this thing takes us, you guys. And you heard he says when he comes back. So you guys, I'm going to hold him to that, and you ladies, if you guys will come back, and then so we can kind of see where our viewers are with these challenges and where they're taking this information that you all are giving them. I would love to see do a recap where our followers and our viewers are taking this information and how they're improving, right? So thank you guys so much for that. Some of the things that I want to recap what the ladies mentioned, because they gave some very vital information. So we want to, the key thing is the communication. Make sure, just like she said, to have that open dialogue. I love that she says, find a PG way to help them understand. That's it. Find a PG way to help them understand what it is, because if they can find out anything else, and they do, they can. I see them do it. They can figure out these finances. But the most important thing is just talking to your children about finances, breaking it down to where they can understand what it is, setting those goals so that way they're earning their rewards and they're not feeling entitled because they're always getting for nothing. And then because that turns into an adult that thinks they can get for nothing. And so, and that's not what we want for our children. We want them to understand the value of a dollar, right? So we want to set those goals, create those vision boards, that visual where they can see, have those piggy banks where they can see their money stacking up in it, because they may not understand the amount, but they can see it grow. Just like she said, her baby, she can see it grow, and she knows that's my money, and I can see her, that's my money. You guys have to know her. But just like it was stated before, if they don't get it now, they will get it eventually. There are a lot of things that we put into our children now that they don't necessarily understand right now. And so this should be one of those things. This is very important. So let's jump right into our next question. How can I save more, and what are the best practices for budgeting?
Hey,
Um,
I'll go ahead.
so
Go ahead. Nope. Ladies first. We go to
One thing really quickly before you guys jump in. Also, for the viewers, if you have any questions for our panelists, please go ahead and drop them in the comments as well. If you have any questions for our panelists, please drop them in the comments, and we will do our best to read. We're trying to read through them as they come in. So if you have any questions, please be sure to drop them for the panelists. So yes, sorry about that. Our next question: how can I save more, and what are the best practices for budgeting?
I think we embarked on it a little earlier too, and just really being strict, setting goals, and sitting out. Maybe you don't go out with your girls one night, which should be easy because we are dealing with COVID. Maybe don't get your hair done or extend the length of your hair. Not getting your nails done, stretching that out. Just really setting a goal, because I feel like once you set a goal, it would be better. You'll be able to track your growth, so to speak. So you set that goal, and it also was mentioned earlier, the 70-30 rule. You manage and do what you need to do off of that 70 and make sure you put 30% away. I remember reading something, I can't remember what it was, but it embarked on paying yourself first. You make sure to pay your bills and everything else, but make sure you set money aside and pay yourself first. And not only with budgeting and making sure that you pay yourself, make sure that you pay yourself and use the right instruments. So savings accounts right now are not the best. The interest rates are terrible. So maybe look into a mutual fund. Maybe max out your 401k at your job. Maybe look into a Roth IRA and contribute some funds there. But there are a lot of instruments that we can use. And like I mentioned earlier, where we can be able to have our money making money while we sleep. But it's just very important that you save, you put some money aside, and then you can also get the compound interest by contributing to these different financial avenues that we have.
And so, boss lady, I'm gonna pick up exactly where you left off at, and just caveat on a bunch of stuff that you said, and you got to understand that it's a building process, so it won't happen overnight. And I think the biggest thing is, financial wealth, financial freedom takes time, especially if you're already ingrained in your lifestyle. So if this is new for you, understand you gotta patient your spirit and your mind and be ready for the long haul. And so you gotta think about things along what she said about paying less for money. So I'm talking about your auto loan, I'm talking about your mortgage, and the way you pay less for money is making sure that you take care of your credit profile. That allows you to save more. Because the same car that's at 1% is going to cost you more at 15%. And so that's 14% a month on saving that you can put in something else. So I always want to make sure you're paying less for the money that you're using when you're financing different items and things in your life. The best budget practices, along with what the team has said, is making sure you have an understanding of something written down, what's all going out, what's all coming in. And then what's ever netted, you want to make sure you execute that dollar down to the penny. So if I have $3,000 a month coming in, I got 15 going out, and I got 1,500 left over. I want to make sure I execute every dollar to a savings, to investing, to anything, to make sure that money is put to work, to where it's not just sitting in my account. And so that's going to help you save, because not only are you disciplined, your money is disciplined too. You execute your money. You make it work for you. Preparation. What happened? We have these great plans, but their plans, they don't beat first contact. We were like, hey man, I'm a meal prep on Sunday. I'm gonna buy all my food, meal prep. I got $300 for my budget for the food. I'm a meal prep. But if you don't meal prep, what's gonna happen on Monday? You don't have lunch, so I'm gonna stop by McDonald's and get lunch. It's about your whole life. You have to cultivate what your end state is. So your end state, you have to know it. Just like you said, you got to have a clear plan, a concise and a clear vision board, everything that you said. But then you have to cultivate your life to where it supports what you're doing, even down to your food choices, your selection. So it's okay to get a Tupperware bed, put that leftover rice, gravy, and chicken in there, and carry it to work and heat up in them. But a lot of times we want We want the cheeseburger, but the cheeseburger's $7. But that's free. So with that, it's just cultivating your life. And and then with that, you want to make sure that you are diversifying. Like one of the points I put on the board, like when you are investing, just like you said, you get in the stock market, like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. As you build this journey, first you want to get debt free. I don't want to owe anybody if I can help it. Now, mortgage, a lot of times, the biggest debt we probably gonna get in our life. And so with that, it's okay to pay that, but I don't want to owe anybody for anything because I can take that money, put it in savings. But now my savings is stacked up. What do I do? What's the next question mark? How do I save more? I diversify. Small businesses investing, stock market is investing, things like that. So with that, there's so many ways to invest. Money market, CDs, everything. You put them in there, even though it's slow though, it's for show though. So it's going to get you to where you need to be regardless, and it might take time. But remember, when you go on this journey, you commit to patience. And I talk about this thing, and I say the 5 Ps. I say patience with a plan is guaranteed with prosperity, is guaranteed to produce prosperity with persistence. So patience with a plan is guaranteed to produce prosperity with persistence. And so with that, that's what you have to be focused on. Your every day, you have to be a great time manager, because if you don't be a time manager, you're not going to do the meal prep. If you're not a time manager, you're not going to save that book and stuff like that. But this right here is a topic that we can dive deep into. And I want to talk, maybe the next question or maybe next time about the importance of that credit profile. That's really going to be the anchor of your saving, because you got the income coming in and I got that solid credit. I can buy stuff at a lesser dollar bill than everybody, and I can buy America. You got people who make 30 grand a year with the 800 credit score, and they have a wonderful house and a wonderful car because they took care of their credit profile. So you don't have to be, LeBron James. Like, Lord knows he has plenty. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I asked somebody to call in. I apologize about that. I'll close on this. You don't have to be a superstar to live a wonderful life. You just got to know how to utilize the financial instruments that's around you, understand the laws and regulations, and save your money. And I'll leave it like that.
Okay, real quickly, I just want to add to that. Like, they were all in my notes, first of all, but for the people who feel like maybe you don't have enough to save, you can start small. If you feel like you don't have, like, if you're not at the point where you're cutting back things yet, start small. Just start. You can automate $5, $10, $15. Just start putting it away. Like, and then when it comes to budgeting, you can find budgeting templates online. You can use a basic Excel spreadsheet. There are apps like You Need a Budget that you could use, or Mint. Or you can, if you don't even know how much everything costs, print out your bank statements. If you use your card a lot, especially, print out your bank statements and start highlighting by category. Highlight how much you spend when you, how much you spend on your bills, how much you spend eating out, how much you put towards gas or auto insurance or stuff like that. Just make sure that you see what you are putting out so that you can know what to do with your money.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch this on replay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so one thing, I'm sorry, make it quick. One thing to tell my clients, because before, just being brainwashed, it was always trying to get a higher refund at the end of the year, right? That's the goal for a lot of people. Like, oh, what can I do to get my taxes, get a higher refund? Now looking back and being a little older and a little wiser, I'm starting to tell my clients not to focus on the refund. Focus on maybe even breaking even or getting a small refund. And then that money that you contributed to paying your federal withholding, how about you then, like Reesey said, start with $5, $10, put it in the savings, or go into the stock market. Have a diversified portfolio. That is the main objective, okay? We're going to acquire this generational wealth, okay, by any means necessary. So I'm really, really telling people, do not give the IRS an interest-free loan, because that's what you're doing. You get up, you go to work every day, You pay them on time. They make sure to get it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, what have you, whatever the payment schedule is. And I know I'm probably going to piss off a couple of IRS agents or what have you, but I don't care. I don't care. Don't give them your money. You give them what you need to so that at the end of the year, you don't have to worry about breaking your neck and paying them back with interest and penalties. No, you give them just enough. And they also have the tools where you could go online and you can fill out the withholding calculator, and it will tell you exactly what you need. You fill in all the information. If you need help with it, consult with your accountant or a financial advisor, what have you. You fill it out, and like I said, either break even or get a small refund, because it makes absolutely no sense for you to work hard every day. One, I feel like Black people shouldn't have to pay taxes. Excuse me. If you don't want to pay us, that should be our form of reparations. I shouldn't have to pay you. Why am I paying? You shouldn't have. You don't want to pay me, so why should I have to pay you? Is how I feel. Point blank. Period. But if I'm going to do it until somebody decides to pass a law, and that could be our reparations, then I'm going to give you the bare minimum. I'm not giving you anything extra for you to turn around and smack me in my face and give me my dollars with no interest. So, withholding calculator on their website. Find out what you need to pay them. Don't pay them anymore. And then invest your money. Keep your money. You work hard for your money. You keep your money. You invest it throughout the year and make your money make money. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow,
Hey,
this
you know
is
what?
so.
Hey,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Hey, I got me pumped up, man. I'm telling you, because this hitting, we need this right here. Because, you know, let's talk about them taxes. Let's talk about them withholdings, right? So with that, if you withhold that, you'll be fine. But listen, pay your tax. Let me tell you why it's important. Everybody want to go out there and buy that house. So I'm going to take that thing one step further, because you spot on. Pay, you know, get your withholding where you pay your taxes. It's okay to pay your taxes. Don't always try to claim a loss. I'm telling you right now, it's going to hurt you when you're trying to make a purchase. Because what they do, understanding financial instruments, they're going to look at the last 2 years. They look at the last 2 years, and I claim a loss in 19, but I claim $40,000 in 20. Hey, they're going to divide them jokers by 2. That means you only made 20 grand in their eyes, and they're going to give you $20,000 worth of extension of credit. So with that, when we take this segment into a more advanced segment, we want y'all to bring up questions about how to buy a house, and you know, how to properly finance a car, and how to actually build your business credit with Dun & Bradstreet. Like, we want to take this financial instrument to different levels, and so we want to start right here to build that foundation. But with the intellectual capital that's on this line right now, we can take whatever you got and we can twist and turn and go any way you want to. So we challenge y'all to put them questions down there below. We challenge y'all to send anything to these great leaders right here. And even if we're not online, we'll send the answer. But I'm telling you right now, them taxes are huge. And I'll give you a real world example. I just closed a house last week. This young lady been trying to close a house for 7 years. Her accountant been having her claiming a loss for the last 5. Go claim a loss. Claim a loss. I said, hey, ma'am, you're not going to close this house unless you pay Uncle Sam some of his money. And so then he's going to give you credit for that income. Then they're going to give you credit at the financial instrument or the financial institution for how much they think you can pay back. And so when I fixed her 2019 and 20 credit, well, she had a bill about $200 a month, but she closed that house last Wednesday. And so with that, you know, it's just about understanding the laws and regulations. So I don't want to go too deep, but you got me pumped up when you're talking about the taxes and withholdings. Like, that's, we miss the boat on that thing sometimes, man. So, hey, listen, I appreciate the motivation though, and I'll go ahead and hand the mic over.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch this on replay. We're gonna have to have a part 2 of this. Even I'm thinking about how to properly fill out like your W-2s or your W-4s, like how to properly fill that out, because a lot of people are not educated on that. So just recapping, you want to start off where you are and pace yourself. So even if that's saving $5 a day, $10 away, $10 a day, and even if you want to jump on for those just coming into that $10,000 challenge, I was like, I only need to put away $27 a day to get $10,000 at the end of the year. That's mind blowing, because I definitely can spend $27 in a day on unnecessary things. Also, I want to jump into this. Make sure if you understand what's going in and out with your expenses, then you can execute every dollar. So that's making money while you sleep or make money on your money. So when you are intentionally executing every dollar, that's investing in small businesses. That's where our small business come in at our money markets. And that's also diversifying our financial portfolio, right? Also disciplining ourselves, meal prepping, small things like that. And you don't have to be a superstar to live a good life. That is a mic drop right there. So I'm going to go into the comment section and actually read our first question. It says, not sure if the panel already spoke on investments. This is a good question, actually. But where should someone with little financial knowledge start to look as far as for investments? How can we make our money work for us? That's a really good question.
Hey, you know, and so I'll take this one at first. So it's, you know, you definitely want to be deliberate, especially when you started with small amounts. And so you don't have to, you know, go out and try to purchase a tranche of stocks or anything like that. But what you can do is take a small amount and you can go open up a money market. You can go open up a CD, and then to get your feet wet in investing. But that money is protected. That money is going to have a growth. It's going to be a little bit slower, but it'll allow you to educate yourself and say, okay, well, I put 500 in the CD. I put 1,000 in the CD. And then when it matures, you see what you made and things of that nature. But also, that's where education comes in. And so you can take small amounts of money and you can do things like investing in Forex. You can invest in the stock market. So it's all these different instruments, but it does require the pain of time. And so with that, Forex is a booming market. It's foreign exchange. You have stories every day all over YouTube, all over the internet, where you have young entrepreneurs, young college students, young teenagers taking $100 and turning it into $600, $700 because they're in the Forex. But what they did put the time in. They put the time in to learn how to trade on Forex, to know what a pip is. And so when we push this segment, we can talk about Forex. We can talk about the pips and how you take money on the up and the down swing, and we can talk about stocks, and we can talk about options and puts and everything. But you have to go get that knowledge in order to know how to execute that dollar. So back to your point about you generating the execution of dollars. So if you don't know what to do with it, save it and get knowledge, and then learn how to execute. And then the best way to save it sometimes is a CD. CD ain't nothing but a beefed up saving account. Right now it's gonna beefed up. You can't touch it. It's locked up. They're investing it at high risk in other markets. Then in 6 months they give you your interest, and then that's okay. But go ahead and save it, and then get smarter. But you gotta, you know, I'll say this, and then I'll shut my mouth again. I'll say this. You know, you got. I look at the components: mind, body, soul, and finances. I think you got to hit on all of them. And so the reason why your mind, I'll take you through a day of getting financially literate. Your mind, you got to be studying something every day to get to an end state. You know, you got to be studying. If it's Forex, if it's stock market, if it's small business, study something every day to get your mind financially literate. With your body, you want to focus all your energy. So you want to make sure that you're healthy, because when you're building wealth, it takes time. And if you're not working on your health the best you can sometimes, and sometimes it don't work in our favor, but if you can, hey, get you a nice little workout, a walk, or run, and clear your mind and think, so you can take care of your body, because it's going to take time to build that financial wealth. All right, so then your soul. You want to make sure that your soul, you carry your entire family in your soul. You want, hey, listen, I got you, I got my kids, my nephew, so I got to get financially literate to take a flock of 9 or 10 to the promised land that I want them to financially be. So I got to keep my soul right. I got to keep thinking about them. I guarantee if you put your family members at the peak of your soul, it's going to give you the energy you need to mentally lock yourself in to learn whatever you need to learn to be financially literate. And then finances. We're talking about it. You have to be working on your finances daily. You can't build financially check by check or month by month. It's a day by day task. You got to wake up, think about it, and I'm going to put them $27.40 away every day. And you know what? Hey, I'm going to make my own coffee today. Give me some caramel and some chocolate, and I'll make my own latte up in here, and then I'll take it to work. And so then when you make that dedication, you got it. And what happens, it gets addictive, because your body changed the way you think about things, and you purchase different. So I'll say I'll say that, and then I'll pass it to these great ladies and let them weigh in on that thing as well.
So I can piggyback. Oh, you want to go ahead, Khaalida. Oh, so I can piggyback off what he was saying about the Forex. So I've done Forex, stock market. I've done a little, I try things. Forex is a good way to start things, but it does take time to learn it. You have to pay attention and understand what you're actually doing. And then there's also high frequency Forex, which is a little faster. But again, it's all in learning how to do things. And also with the stock market, like there are apps that you can start off with, like Robinhood or Stockpile or Stash, like that you can just start putting little bits of money into. But make sure you research what you're purchasing. Make sure with anything you do, research before you just, oh, somebody posted this, let me go buy it. No, research what you're buying into, so you know what you're getting yourself into, so you can't blame anybody else for if you lose your money. With anything you do, it's researching.
Right. And then also, I agree with finances being a daily thing. I know it may be a lot for people, so I tell them at least try to do it quarterly, because some people don't even really understand what's going on until it's tax time, in which I try to tell people, I can't help you in the new year. We need to converse throughout the year so that I could give you some tax planning tips, invest over here, or make sure you pay these taxes this time, or pay estimated taxes, or what have you. Once again, communication is key. I can't help you once the whole year has passed. So tax planning is important. Working on your finances daily is important. With the stock market, I was told not to invest in anything that you don't believe in, but there's been some things that I haven't believed in and it's made me some money. So with that being said, research. Just do your research. And with the stock market, you have to have time for it too, because you almost turn yourself into like a day trader. In the beginning, I started off very small, and I'm very proud of my portfolio now. I did have some mistakes in the beginning. I had stocks completely just washed, and I just lost my money, and I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, where did it go? I know I had some money over here. What happened? So you need to really pay attention to what's going on. There is this site that I use. They're not 100% accurate, but they're helpful. It's called Wallet Investor. And if you know the stock symbol, you can type it in and it'll give you a forecast. So it'll give you what it previously did, what it is today, what the projection is for the next few weeks, what the projection is for the next year, and on to the next 5 years. Like I said, they're not 100% accurate, but if you're just starting out, that is something that can be a resourceful tool for you to make your investments. And then just practicing patience too, knowing that some of these, nobody would have thought that Amazon would have been what Amazon was today. I remember shopping Amazon in college and not thinking anything of it. People didn't even really know anything about it. I'm kicking myself for not investing then. Same thing with crypto, kicking myself for not investing. Even though I don't even really understand it, I know there's money there. So yeah, talking to like-minded people could really help you, because I started with $200 in 2018. And like I said, I'm really proud of my portfolio now. So just making sure that you speak to people, do your research, and having that patience, it could take you a very long way.
So thank you so much to you all tonight. I really hate to end this conversation because it is amazing. But what I can say is that there will be a part 2. We will bring these panelists back and we will continue this conversation. We still have questions on our list. Our viewers are bringing in the questions, so we are not going to leave them hanging. So if our panelists will commit to coming back and joining us here in the near future, we will be back and we will answer your questions. We will jump on these topics about life insurance. We will dig deep into these taxes, purchasing a home, how to buy a car, how to fill out a W-4. So we're definitely going to do that.
Don't leave out credit. Don't leave out the credit part.
Yes, we're going to go over the importance of credit and understanding your credit and why we even need it. Why is that score even important? What does it mean? Because there are people that don't know. And so we are definitely going to touch on those topics. And if you all would join us again, we would definitely love to have you all back for a part 2 of financial literacy, building generational wealth, and preparing your family after you're gone, ensuring that everything is set like it's supposed to be, with the wheels and the estates, and making sure it is secure and set like it's supposed to be, like and everyone follows through with it the way that it is written, how you desire for it to be. And so that is very important. And we will definitely, we have them in the comments in there, like, please come back. And we definitely will. We will have you all back for a part 2 if you will join us. So I want to thank our viewers for sticking out with us this evening. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us. And please, we did have someone drop in the comments that they are going to take that 10K challenge, and we are going to hold them accountable to that 10K challenge. Neuroeducator Posey is going to do that 10K challenge. We are going to hold you all accountable for that 10K challenge, right, this year. So we're going to see. It's still early in the year, and I believe that you all can do it. I believe that we can do it. I believe that we can hit December 31st with 10,000 in the bank. I really do. So we're going to track it, and we're going to hold you all to it. So if you didn't hear the challenges, we have a 10K challenge that's $27.40 a day, a 25K challenge that's $48.50 a day. If you're feeling froggy, put it in the comments and let us know that you're gonna do it, right? So thank you all to our panelists. I'm just gonna go over who we have on the panel this evening and what they are. I'm sorry. Okay, so we have someone asking to recap the 10K challenge. So what the 10K challenge is to save $10,000 in 1 year's time, is saving $27.40 a day. And at the end of the year, you will have $10,000 in your account or wherever you're saving it. And that $27.40, for me, like a family of 6, $27.40 is, yeah, like, I don't even want to tell you how much we could spend at a drive-thru, okay? So I'm definitely here to say that I'm sure it can be done. And so we got another one. We got another frog in the comments. So just keep those frogs coming. I love it. Keep it coming. So let's just go over who we have on the panel this evening. We have Miss Reesey Brewton, who is an inventory accountant at Chatham Steel Corporation. She has been in accounting for 9 years. She has a bachelor's in accounting and an MBA with a minor in accounting. Thank you, Miss Reesey. If you would like to give us something to just end off with, and how people can contact you if they have any questions about accounting tips or anything that you said this evening.
Yeah, so it's been great, y'all. If you want to reach out to me, please do. Reesey B on Facebook, Reesey B on Instagram, or you can reach out to my business page, Essential Excellence Co. Yeah, it's just been great talking, discussing this. I hold it dear to my heart. I love numbers. I always have. So finances is just, yeah, I got a love for it. So reach out if you have any questions. I'll be more than willing to help to answer. If I don't know the answer, I will reach out to somebody else and find the answer. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Reesey. And she did mention Essential Excellence Co. That is her business. So please be sure to check her out on Instagram and Facebook. She has amazing things, you guys. That's her candle behind her. She has amazing things. So check her out. So she's not only an accountant, but she also owns her own business. All right, and up next we have Miss Khaalida Jones. Miss Khaalida Jones is owner and accountant of LeGrand Financial Services. Khaalida has been independently working in finance for 10 years, but she has worked with her father in finances since she was 12 years old. Talk about preparing your children for greatness, okay? So thank you, Miss Khaalida, for joining us this evening. If you would like to leave our viewers with a tip and how they can contact you for your services.
It was a pleasure. I appreciate you guys for having me. I'm not as excelled in education as my cousins are, but I do have my bachelor's in accounting, so I just wanted to put that out there. If you did want to get in touch with me, I do have a website. It is www.reeseybrewton.com. www.legrandfinancial.com. There's a contact us form on there. So if you have any questions, you can just contact us and the question will respond. I also have a Facebook page. I believe you can find me as LeGrand Financial. Same for Instagram, it's LeGrand_financial. The phone number, I'll throw it out there real quick, is 908-353-8807. And yeah, anything that I don't know, like Reesey said, I will definitely reach out because networking is key. So I do have some amazing like-minded people that are around that can assist with whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm here. It's tax time. But we can't really do too much about 20, but we can focus on making things right for 21. And like I said, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And I so agree with that, building your team. If you don't know the answers, connect with someone that does or that can explain it to you. Definitely do that. Thank you so much, Ms. Khaalida. And last but definitely not least, we have Major Booker Washington, who is an Army executive officer and financial advisor. Booker has been in the financial business for 25 years. He started real estate in college when he was 18 years old. Again, setting your children up. They understand. They can understand this information. They can get it. Just start them small and keep them going. So thank you so much, Booker, for joining us. Do you have any tips for our viewers before we go? And how can they contact you for questions?
Well, I think I'm first going to start off and say, hey, it's been a pleasure being on this line with all these queens. So let's start it off. So thank y'all for all the great intellectual capital. So everybody out there, I'll give you some information. I'll give you my number. That's the best way to reach me. I'm always moving, so I'm a soldier. So I might be sitting in Thailand tomorrow. So with that, my number is 706-619-7632. And if you send me a text, I guarantee I'll get back to you. But also, I have a website, and it's T, and I spell my name T-E-E, and the website is at the will to want to. And I say will to want to is W-I-L-L, the number 2, W-A-N-T, the number 2.com. So T at will-to-want-to.com. Send me an email, and I guarantee I'll give you a real assessment on what you got going on. And I'll leave you with this. You know, no matter what you're doing, make your plan and move the ball forward every day. And I'll challenge you with that. So even with this $10,000 challenge, your ball is the $27.40. Make sure you're making progress every day towards that. And with this great team that we have on here, if you need help deciding what to do when you get there, let's get to the 10 grand first. I guarantee you we'll tell you what to do with it to get you to the next step. So I want to grow as a community. I want us to take the 10,000. I want everybody to take it. And I want us to get to a point to where we take the 10 grand and show how a community of just a few people can build wealth together. So we all gonna take it. Booker T. Washington gonna take it, and this team of queens gonna take it. And when we get here, we're gonna combine forces and show everybody what to do, and we're gonna grow together with real examples and things. So I challenge you to do that, and I beg you to do that because it's needed. And then we talk about this credit and everything, and we talk about the taxes, and we talk about the accounting. You know, we got all these great women. Hey, we're gonna knock it out the park. So I look forward to it. Hey, thank y'all again. I'm standing by to ready for the next meeting. I could be in the desert. I promise you I'm gonna take this meeting.
Thank you so much, Booker, and thank you for your tips on saving. And you all, please go check out those websites, legrandfinancial.com and t@will-to-want-to.com. And then also check out Reesey B on Facebook and Instagram, and Essential Excellence & Co. on Instagram and Facebook as well. So thank you again all for joining us. We are NeuroAdvanced Academics, and I will introduce neuroeducator Posey so she can tell you a little bit about us and what we do.
So we are NeuroAdvanced Academics. We are an educational firm that uses neuroscience-based practices to educate your children and cultivate that innate genius within your child. We've been talking about investing tonight, and a big investment is investing into your child's education, but we're not just talking about book knowledge. We're talking about learning, right? Them actually acquiring knowledge and taking what's in their DNA and really harvesting that so that they can be innovators and entrepreneurs. They can build on that creativity, the problem solving, and critical thinking so that they can be our carry on our future generation. So again, we are NeuroAdvanced Academics, and you can also schedule a complimentary consultation with us. We want to thank our panel on tonight, and we really do hope that Reesey, Khaalida, and Major can join us. Major Washington can join us again in the near future, because people are in the comment section saying that they want a part 2, because why? This information is so important. So thank you all again. We will be reaching out to y'all like tonight or tomorrow to see if we can schedule set up a part 2. So thank you all so much. Please go back and watch this replay with your pencil and paper, and we look forward to seeing you and hope that we can have a whole squad and community of those 10K challenges. And if you're feeling really foggy, that $25,000 challenge. So thank you all so much for joining us. We are NeuroAdvanced Academics Live, where we focus on neuroscience, education, and parenting tips. We will see you all on the next time. Thank you all so much again to our wonderful panelists, and good night.